Hi everyone, Jewel here. I'm going to try to give you a better tropical update if my internet will hold out. Let's hope it does. Isa right now. I've got this set on 5 days. This is the latest update. That's why it's saying 8 a.m., but it is the latest one as of 11 a.m. 75 mile per hour winds. Barometric pressure 992 millibars, 21.7 north, 74.5 west. It's moving even slower. It keeps slowing down at 16 miles per hour. This disturbance number 1, I don't think it's going to do a whole lot. We will keep our eyes on it. It's just showers and thunder showers, and it's a small area of low pressure. It's a couple of 100 miles east-southeast of the Cabo Verde Islands. They've become less organized since yesterday. It's moving towards the north and much less favorable environmental conditions. 20% 2-day and 5 days of forming. Now, disturbance number 2. Well, we need to watch this. It's a westward moving tropical wave. It's about 1,000 miles east of the Lesser Antilles, and it's producing a limited amount of shower activity. Some slow development of this system is possible while it turns northwestward over the western Atlantic by early next week. In a couple of days, no chance. As of now, 5 days, there is a 20% chance of disturbance number 2 to develop. Now we have the tracking map from the National Hurricane Center. I have some areas I want to go over very, very carefully. Now, right now, of course, it is a hurricane. Everything in the red is a hurricane watch for all of the Bahama Islands, north to south. All of those are under a hurricane warning right now, as you can see. If it's in the pink, that's a hurricane watch up here in Florida, and that goes all the way down along with the tropical storm warnings all the way through Florida. Florida is something I want to talk about very much right now, because this track may get pushed a little further to the west, and as you can see, those tropical storm warnings now are further inland in Florida. What we really need to pay attention to is when this starts to make this northeast curve, when it starts to move northward. Now, Florida, all along in this area, I'd say from mid-Florida all the way down and across these areas here, you really need to pay attention. You could have hurricane conditions. So please be aware of this and stay safe. Now, I think when it does make that curve, we've got to make sure we know when this happens, because that's going to have a lot to do with the tracking up and down the eastern seaboard here. Maybe it looks like it's still pushing the dry air away, folks. Can you believe it? It may encounter a little shear wind to knock it down a little, but still, it's going to be a very high-end tropical storm when it reaches and goes off the coast of North Carolina. As you can see, it's looking like now, and this is going to stretch all the way up into the coast of Maine. Anybody, I'm going to draw a line here for you. Now remember, it can go anywhere from side to side in this cone, okay? But I'd say anybody, as we draw this line down, coming like this, in these areas right in here, anybody, and this goes all the way to Myrtle Beach. I think it will make landfall somewhere between Myrtle Beach and the Outer Banks, right in this area when it gets up in this area, and that is when it will probably be a hurricane to start with, but as it moves along, that is when the shear wind from this trough up here, pushing down, and it going over some land, it may bring it down to a tropical storm. I'm saying it may. It looks like it might right now. Of course, you got to remember, all of this can change. Now, another thing I want to bring up right quickly and show you, this cone now, and in this hurricane watch area, also extends. I have people ask me questions. Is it going to come here? Is it going to come there? Nobody knows what it's going to do exactly. These are all estimates of what it looks like it may do. But if you live on the coast of Georgia and in this area of South Carolina, right up in these areas here, you need to be on the lookout. It could toggle a little more to the west. As I said, down in Florida, it just might do that because now they have tropical storm warnings up further west in Florida around Lake Okeechobee, as you can see right here. You need to take all of this into consideration, my friends. You need to make sure you've got your kits, you've got your plans, you've got everything you want to do ready. Pick your stuff up in your yard. This is a fairly large storm. It doesn't matter where, if you get the very center of it going over you or not, you're going to still get wind and rain. So please take this into consideration. And once again, everyone in Florida, you see you have the tropical storm warnings in the blue, and underneath that, it's all pink, all the way up the coast, all the way down, almost to Miami, not quite, and around. Everybody in this area, right in here, you need to pay attention. Please do so. There's one important thing that I want to get out right now, and that is that Isaias is continuing on this steady northwestward motion. Now, this motion is expected to continue for the next 36 hours or so. The hurricane rounds the southwestern area of the Bermuda-Azores High. You hear me talk about the high pressure. Now, a gradual turn to the northwest and north is expected by 48 to 60 hours, and that's due to the break in the ridge developing that I'm telling you about in response to the central U.S. Now, shortwave troughing digging into the southeastern United States is what is going to cause this. Now, the timing and strength of this trough is going to determine how far west Isaias is going to move before the hurricane turns northward. That's what we have to look for. We have to wait. It's checking on that turn. Now, the GFS has shifted westward, a little westward, closer to the Florida coast, and that's similar to the westward shift that's in the European model fields. Now, by 72 hours, the hurricane is forecast to begin accelerating northeastward, possibly passing over eastern North Carolina by day 4 and across eastern New England on day 5. That's why I'm telling everybody, up and down the eastern seaboard, you need to pay attention. Now, as a result of the westward shift, it's looking like the guidance and the forecast track, they have shifted it a little farther west, as you saw, to the southeastern U.S. coast. And it lies a little to the west of the consensus models, the TVCA and the NOAA HCCA. One of my favorite tracking models, of course, as I've told you, is the TVCA, and the westward shift in the track has required the issuance of this hurricane watch that I showed you for portions of the Florida East Coast. Now, some of the key messages. Isaias is going to produce heavy rains, potentially life-threatening flash flooding, mudslides across the Dominican Republic, northern Haiti, Turks and Caicos, and the Bahamas. Bahamas, look out. Now, the heavy rains associated with Isaias may begin to affect the south and east central Florida areas late tonight, Friday night, late tonight, and the eastern Carolinas by early next week. And it's going to have isolated flash and urban flooding that's going to occur in these areas, especially if you live in a low-lying, poor-drained area. Now, isolated minor river flooding. Now, that's what I have to deal with, folks. I'm right on the, I'm right at the mouth of the Sound, the river, and the Sound to the ocean. The river flooding is possible in the Carolinas early next week. Now, the hurricane conditions and dangerous storm surge are expected in portions of the Bahamas today and Saturday, and the hurricane warnings are in effect. Everything needs to be already done, folks, at this point. Now, the tropical storm conditions with the hurricane conditions possible along portions of the Florida East Coast will begin tomorrow. And tropical storm warnings and hurricane watch is in effect for these areas, along for storm surge watches or warnings. They could be needed and put up later this afternoon. This is for the Florida East Coast. It all starts tomorrow. Now, it's looking like there is this risk of impacts from the wind, the heavy rain, the storm surge beginning late this weekend along northeastern Florida coast. It should spread northward along the remainder of the U.S. East Coast through early next week. Please, I've showed you this. I've showed it to you on the map. Don't just act like it's nothing. I'm not saying it's going to be big and bad, but it very well could be at the same time on the other side of the coin. You need to pay attention and you need to prepare. Now, when we come down just a little bit, we'll check out the wind. Earlier, it had it at 100 miles per hour. Now, it has it at its greatest strength, 90 miles per hour. So that's going to keep it at a Category 1 hurricane. Hopefully. It still might reach that too, but I think a little bit of shear wind may get into it. No matter what, when it comes to the East Coast and the midsections and down south in Florida, you're going to get 90 mile per hour winds possible. Keep that in mind. 90 mile per hour winds. When it comes to South Carolina and North Carolina on the coastlines, I'd say from Myrtle Beach to the Outer Banks, we're going to get 85 to 80 mile per hour winds. This is sustained winds, and you have to remember, the gusts are always going to be higher. Please pay attention, and please get right. Now, to wrap this up right quick, I took the coordinates off of where it has the coordinates at times, along with the wind, 90 mile per hour winds, and this is the coordinates. You can see they have it still staying offshore some. However, I think it may move a little bit more inland. I would say anywhere from Miami going all the way up this area around Lake Okeechobee. I think Lake Okeechobee, you might get tropical storm stuff more than anything else at this time. But all of you guys around here in these areas all the way up to Vero Beach, I would not rule out that you might not get hurricane conditions. So, you need to pay attention and stay safe, my friends. The same goes for everybody up and down the East Coast. It's hurricane season. Looks like it might be a bad one before it's over. I hope not. But please go ahead and get your stuff ready. Check on your neighbors. Check on the elderly. Make sure your pets have a safe place to stay. Thank you all my new subscribers. Thank you all my old subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Click the bell and check off all to get all my latest videos. Thank you for understanding. I probably will not make another video today because it takes so long. My internet is so slow. When I have it, I don't have it a lot of the time. It's still so slow. It takes an hour or two for this to get uploaded. Thanks for understanding, but this should pretty well answer your questions as of now.